Hi, my name is Kanika Iyengar and I'm a psychologist who works with children with autism and other developmental disabilities. I also happen to be a foodie and I love experimenting with lots of new food. My motto is to cook healthy food which is equally yummy. My work brings me in touch with many families where one child has a developmental issue like speaking late or being hyperactive, or maybe as severe as being on the autism spectrum. And I have noticed that food does play a huge role in these children's lives. So in the West, a number of families have started adopting a GFCF diet when their child is diagnosed with a disability or any developmental issue. And GFCF basically means gluten-free, casein-free, where these diets do not have milk or any animal products, neither do they have processed food. They use things like oats and millets. So when I wanted to incorporate the various principles of a gluten and casein-free diet into our Indian context, I didn't have to look far. I just had to look back into what my grandparents ate, and that is amazing. They led brilliantly healthy lives, they were sound of mind and body, and lived excellent quality. So what more can we ask? We just have to head back into those kind of teachings, understand the techniques that they used, and use it for our modern palates. And that is what I'm going to show you in this series. I'm going to talk about food that is healthy, that is delicious, but is extremely good quality food for children to eat and will not damage their processing abilities, will not harm their growth spurt, will not harm their physical, social, emotional, intellectual growth. That is what I'm going to be talking about in this series titled Right from the Start. So the dish I'm going to show you today is soup called Khao Suey. It's a very traditional dish from Burma and has a coconut-based broth with lots of different spices and vegetables, and is an absolutely healthy and yummy thing to have at any point of the day. We have it a couple of times a week at home, and you can shift the number of vegetables that we have. You can have noodles, you can have lots of different crisp veggies, cooked veggies, basically yummy. So the ingredients for the coconut-based broth are coconut, gram flour, chilies, curry leaves, turmeric, lemongrass, ginger and garlic. And the vegetables that we're going to use today are cauliflower, coriander, broccoli, cucumber, onions, capsicum, carrot and zucchini. So first in the pestle and mortar, we're going to grind up lemongrass, curry leaves, chili, ginger and garlic. So this rough paste is now ready and we can move on to the next stage. So this is the paste and we're now going to boil it with about a liter and a half of water in a saucepan. We'll bring it to the boil and then let it just sit for half an hour to an hour. Overnight is even better, and that lets the flavors infuse in the water. This is what will become the base for our coconut broth. So our mixture has come to a boil, and what I'll do now is switch it off and then add a little bit of turmeric. As we all know, turmeric is a brilliant antiseptic. Once this is done, just let it sit for as long as you have, minimum an hour. So we've let it steep for a couple of hours and then I've just strained the liquid. Don't throw the liquid away, it's liquid gold for us. So this is what we're left with. I put it into the mixie jar. I'm going to add coconut to it and then we're going to make it into a fine paste, and that will become the base for our coconut broth. So the paste is ready now, and this is going to make the base of the coconut milk that will then become the coconut soup. So remember that liquid gold I told you about? Well, I've just had it cooling for a little while. We're going to add it to this and make coconut milk out of it. So the next step is to mix our coconut paste along with that liquid gold that we had when we strained it off from all the spices and make coconut milk out of it. And this is ready for mixing. So our coconut milk is ready and we're now going to thicken it with a little bit of gram flour that we're going to start by frying off first. Okay, so have your pan nice and hot and add in the gram flour and just cook it until it turns a little brownish and changes color. This will help with the thickening process, and it's a very natural thickener to use rather than using things like corn flour and maida. Besan is made out of a lentil, it's made out of a dal. so it's very healthy for us to eat also. So the gram flour is nicely roasted, and to this we'll add the coconut milk. Add it a little at a time and be careful, it's going to splutter up. I like to use a whisk just to whisk it in so there are no lumps. Okay. Once it thickens, add a little bit more. And make sure as you go that the gram flour is not in clumps and is nicely whisked into the coconut milk. So the coconut milk that I made, I did not strain off any of the coconut, lemongrass, ginger, garlic. It's there, and it's there to also give the broth some body. Also what I have done is I have not used any oil while I was frying the basin. The idea is that we can cook without oil, and that's what I want to show you. So the soup has thickened nicely and we're ready to serve. Okay. Last thing before serving, just put in a pinch of salt. Just stir it around once more. Then switch off. So the whole idea of Khao Suey is you can use whatever vegetables you like. You can make it crunchy. You can boil it up a little bit. So if you're using beans, broccoli, cauliflower, parboil that. But the rest of them, leave them raw. Raw veggies are much healthier for us than cooked ones because all the goodness in vegetables go away in the water that we boil the vegetables in, and therefore we lose the goodness in them. So the quantity that we've made here today will easily serve about 4-5 people. You can add noodles, you can add fried garlic, you can add even crispy noodles, whatever you like. So I put in some broccoli, I'm putting in some cucumber, cauliflower, and the whole fun of this dish is to have things cut up in different shapes and sizes. Put in whatever you would like. Okay, we've got some onions, okay, some capsicum, use colored capsicum. Make sure it's as colorful as you can get it. Some zucchini, carrot, okay. Just mix it up, and right on top we'll put a little bit of coriander. So sprinkle some coriander on top and Khao Suey is ready. So this is my take on a classic Burmese Khao Suey, a rich coconut broth with lemongrass, ginger, chili, garlic, all of them excellent digestives for us, very healthy, very colorful and great fun to make.